Here's the thing. Markets are chaos. And the one thing I know for sure, I'm probably wrong about a lot of this. I'm in the arena every day, staying alive and learning in real time, just like you. I'm Stowe, and this is Patterns and Static. All right, welcome to episode 2 of Patterns and Static. I'm Stowe, and first off, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the insane response to the Substack, to the podcast, to my return to Ninja Trader Live on the YouTube channel. I had a crazy, amazing week last week, filled with so much gratitude, and I just wanted to say, seriously, thank you so much. I didn't know that was going to happen. Obviously, I hadn't been around for a little bit, and, I was coming back, not sure what the response was going to be, just kind of leading with my heart there, and yeah, I was blown away by the response. So I'm excited to make another episode of Patterns and Static and to keep making them, because I really love them. And, I heard all of your feedback. I heard all of the things that you wanted to hear from a podcast from me, and I'm going to try my best to make that thing for you. So this episode is going to be something that we kind of promised a little bit from the Painting the Tape series. I'm going to dig into prop firm stuff, how I use prop firms, how I have used prop firms in the past, all of that. And now, before we start that, I just want to say by prop firm, I'm just referring to the modern day funded account firms that we are all used to, like Lucid Trading and the rest of them. I'm not referring to traditional proprietary trading firms. I understand there is a difference, and I just don't want to mix that up. So I'm talking about the stuff you can do on the internet that most of us are doing. Before I get into that, I just want to go down a quick rabbit hole about a concept that I think is important to have, not just in trading, but especially when you're using funded prop firms. You need to have this concept inside at all times of radical personal responsibility. This is a concept that I started to focus on a long time ago in my life, and it helped me a lot in my old job, in my old life as a musician. When you're in a field where you are the end-all, be-all of your success, and you're also having to define your own parameters for success at all times, that comes with a level of personal responsibility that is maybe beyond any other thing, because you don't have a manager looking over your head. They don't have a manager. You are completely out here on your own. So not only in trading do you need to be constantly taking personal responsibility for your actions and mistakes, and even when you don't make a mistake and things go wrong, you have to do that kind of tenfold with prop firm stuff. Because it's a weird world, and it can lend to some bad habits. It can also help leverage your success in a really positive way if you do it correctly. But just like trading in general, there's pitfalls everywhere. Like this thing is kind of a minefield that we're hanging out in. So I'm going to talk about some ways that I have found benefit me in that minefield, and how I've been able to use that to kind of learn how to be a trader. So I think most of us know what a prop firm is, probably, or a funded firm is. I don't think I need to explain it. There's plenty of people on the internet that have videos explaining, like, what is this? What is this? What I want to do is I want to get into what they are to me, and how I view them, and how that I use that perception to focus myself while I'm utilizing them, right? So a prop firm or a funded firm is basically a company that you give a couple $100s to, and in exchange for that, you get an evaluation or sometimes a direct account with no evaluation that lives in a simulated market environment that you can trade on instead of trading your own capital in a non-simulated market environment. That sounds really good, but it has trade-offs. Those trade-offs are rules, and of course, you have to deal with whatever company this is in some way that you're working with. That means you have to deal with customer service. That means you have to deal with problems with platforms that exist. These are the trade-offs that you have to make if you're going to use somebody else's simulated capital to help your trading. Some people think it's good. Some people are happy to live inside of these rules. Other people don't. They don't like it at all. They don't like this entire concept of all of these, rules floating around. They just want to be able to get in, trade like a pirate, do whatever they want, no rules, take their money out as soon as it settles and be done. And that's great. That's also good because you can do that. If you put $5,000 into a brokerage account, aside from needing to maintain your margin requirements, you can do whatever you want with that. You can do literally anything. But funded firms are going to come with restrictions. They're going to come with consistency rules. They're going to come with max contract rules. You can't trade some instruments sometimes, like metals are being restricted right now because of the extensive volatility in silver and gold, all of that stuff. But for our intents and purposes, what a prop firm is we give somebody a couple $100. They give us a few $1,000s of simulated capital, and they also give us a bunch of rules. And if we abide by those rules and trade that simulated capital successfully, they give us real money. That's it. So what are the benefits of doing that? One main benefit is you don't have to tie up a bunch of your own capital. You don't have to put $4,000 into a brokerage account to have access to simulated $4,000. I'm a Lucid supporter. You can do this with anybody, but the one I'll talk about is Lucid. You can go buy a $150K Lucid Direct account for a few $100s, and you get access to $4,500 in simulated capital, basically. You also get a bunch of rules. You also have a ton of parameters that you now have to trade under in order to get money out of that account, but you didn't have to put up $4,500. So when I think about this, a lot of people view the rules as restrictive, but if you can find a place that has rules that are not restrictive to you, that you can live inside of, you can leverage your own money in a way that you couldn't otherwise leverage it. All right, so we've established what a funded firm is, right? Or at least how I look at them. You give them money, they give you a little bit more simulated money, and they give you a bunch of rules. If you trade with the rules, you get to take some money out, right? Pretty black and white. Now, there are a ton of other pitfalls that are involved that you should consider before you trade with these firms. For example, what if the rules change? They will. They will. They always do. I've been doing this for many years, and it's an evolving thing. Rules are going to change. They have a business to run too, so it's going to change. Another thing is they might go away. That firm that you paid money to and that you take money out of by trading the simulated capital successfully, they might go away. That has happened to me too, and that sucks. That's not very fun. This is why I promote Lucid, and when I talk about this next part, I'm just going to use the Lucid Direct 150K account to explain how I use this system. But they're the only firm I'm personally comfortable with endorsing. There's lots of other good firms out there, but I know them personally. I know them to be truly trader-friendly, as a company and as humans. And they're also extremely innovative, and they're also extremely clear and honest. So they have less pitfalls for me just for that reason. And so if I'm going to send anybody to anywhere, it needs to be somebody that I know and a product that I actually like at the same time. So that's why I just stick with them for now. And if you want to support the Substack and the podcast and all the stuff, you can go to Lucid Trading. If you want to sign up for one of these accounts and use my code STOWE, STOWE, and that gets you the best discount always. Or if you don't want to do that, that's okay too. No pressure, zero pressure. But this is how I approach leveraging both a cash account and simulated funding accounts. I'm at the point in my trading where I don't really care to go through an evaluation process. You should. If you're new, you should still be trading evals, and you should still be trading one at a time until you get your legs underneath you. That's what you should be doing. Personally, I do a direct to funded account when I go with anybody, because I don't like going through an eval. I like to just plug it into my system, and this is how I do it. So I have a cash account that I trade. I traded on Ninja Trader Live. You've seen screenshots of it. Whatever. It's not that much money. It's a few $1,000. That's how much I like to keep in there. I'm not a rich guy. I'm just making a moderate, upper middle class life out of this, and that is fine for me. So I keep a few $1,000 in there. And when it has good days, I take that money out and I pay bills with it. I put it in savings. I put it in my IRA. I do other responsible things with my money. Also, none of this is financial advice. Disclaimer again, this is just what I do. One thing I do is I find companies that have direct to funded accounts with rules that I can live inside of, right? Personally, I kind of enjoy a consistency rule because it helps me get away from the screen once I've hit a point in trading, because that's a big hole in my game, is not being able to walk away and not having a give back rule or giving back too much. So I find consistency rules to be really helpful for me, and they help my discipline. Now, that's just me. That's not necessarily everybody. Everybody's going to have their own rules that work for them and their own rules that they have a hard time with. So this is just my thing. So if I have $4,500 in my cash account, I can go get a Lucid Direct account. The $150K one gives you access to $4,500 in simulated capital, and I can set that up in a copy trader, and I just copy my cash account to this Lucid account, and I've essentially doubled the leverage without doubling my risk, right? So I'm able to use, say I'm trading 3 or 4 micros in my cash account, I'm now trading 6 to 8 micros. And, obviously you still have to trade well, but you give yourself access to more capital as you're growing and as you're getting better as a trader by just adding on this secondary account with some rules, as long as you can live inside of them. That's how I personally have used them for the last couple of years. Now, when I first started, I was using them just to figure out what the hell I was doing, because I had no idea. You've heard this probably. If you've listened to any of the Painting the Tape stuff, you know this. Like, I had no clue what I was doing for many, many years. I didn't know what an order book was. I didn't know what anything was. I had no idea what anything was. And so had I not had access to prop firm and funded accounts in order to practice and learn with for many, many years, there is no way I would have made it. There's no way I would have survived to be a person that can be a profitable trader. And I say also that with a grain of salt too, because, I'm only profitable right now. And it's my responsibility every day to make sure that I'm staying in my process and doing the work that I need to do to get better and stay up to date with the way that the market is working. That all goes back into that personal responsibility thing. Like, if you ain't swimming, you're floating. Wait, what is it? If you're not swimming, you're dying. If you're not dying, you're crying. I don't remember what the thing is. If you're not swimming, you're sinking. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, so that's how I use prop firms. I think that it's important to understand that when you get into this, you should still treat it like you're trading. A lot of this world gets weird, and it has its own community. It has its own economy. There are different prop firms that get in arguments with other prop firms. There's a lot of drama over there. I would recommend don't look at any of that. Ignore it. That's noise. Find some place that you like, that you trust, and use that responsibly to leverage your trading and to help you grow. And you might be surprised that some of these rules help you, and just keep an open mind about everything. Like, a lot of people go into this with like, rules, this is terrible. Like, I don't know, maybe give it a shot. Maybe you'll find something about that benefits your trading. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it makes your trading worse and that's not for you. Like, either one, but it's important to have an open mind about lots of stuff. I think that that's true with all trading. You have to have an open mind. Ultimately, all risk management is just personal responsibility. The way that you manage your trading account, the way that you manage any funded accounts that you choose to add on to that, or just trade funded accounts, or however you choose to do this work, whatever you decide to do, risk management is ultimately a reflection of how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your future. And I think that it's important to always have as much self-respect for your risk management and yourself as humanly possible in this game. You have to. If you start to lose focus on that stuff, that is a very slippery slope. And that can lead to a ton of negative emotions and a ton of doom spiraling. It's just not a good place to go. So risk management through radical responsibility is all you really need. And as long as you're living inside of a good risk management rules, you should have what it takes to exist and survive long enough in this game to at least get good. Or be here long enough that you realize, like, this sucks and I don't want to do this. Because that's also possible. If I didn't love doing this, there's no way I would be doing this for 5 years. That's insane. This is way too much heartache and work to be slogging through this for 5 years. But I love it, so I found that out and I'm able to do it. So that's cool. And you might find that out too. You just have to give yourself the opportunity to be around long enough to know that and to see the rewards and to have the experience, because it is very much an experience game too. Ultimately, the most responsible thing any trader can do also is you have to be honest with yourself about where you're at as a trader. Like, if you're not that good, you should be using sim, or you should be using an eval, a very cheap one, a small one, just to figure out your process. If you don't have a foundation for your process yet, that's the first thing you have to lay before anything else can go on it. Because if you have a shitty foundation, there's no way that you're going to be able to put anything on top of that without it crumbling. And that foundation has to be rooted in good process, honest, self-understanding of who you are, how you feel at any moment, all of those things. Ultimately, the most responsible thing you can do is just be honest with yourself about where you're at. And as long as you do that and act accordingly, you're not going to get over your skis. It's when you start to try to pretend that you're somebody that you're not, that's where you get into trouble. Because trying to jump in other people's shoes that you don't know or understand how they got those shoes, why they're wearing those shoes, how big or small those shoes are. Yeah, you don't want to do that. That's nothing but trouble. So that's it. That's what I've got about prop firms. That's how I've used them in the past. That's how I use them currently now. I think they're a great tool, but it's important to understand the pitfalls and the risk that's associated with using them. They are powerful tools, just like all of this, and they can also be very dangerous. So as we navigate a really dangerous career with a lot of mental pitfalls and financial pitfalls to begin with, you have to be aware that those exist out here in funded firm and prop firm land. Doesn't mean they're bad. Doesn't mean they're good. They're just tools, just like anything else. So thank you so much for listening to episode 2. I'll probably dig into some more like mental game stuff. Actually, I definitely owe everybody episode 3 of the playbook. So maybe I'll take some time and do that. As always, thank you so much for subscribing to the Substack and for helping me out on socials. If you share this podcast, if you rate it in Spotify, any of those things you can do for free, help me out. This is going to be free forever. Substack's going to be free forever. If you feel like supporting me beyond that, you know how to do it. LucidTrading.com. Or, yeah, just like and subscribe. That's what my kid says. She goes, like and subscribe. She watches a lot of YouTube. But all right. Thanks, folks.